what limited warp power you still had. Your secondary generators were already offline, and as a result of which, your ship now has outright no power. The last message of the last session was that you had 30 minutes until total life support failure.
30 minutes to get power online.
Yeah. So you have all just heard that message. We're going to start with Izan, who's currently in main engineering and around the warp core. We've just heard this message, Thizan. What do you do?
I'm going to call to the teams around me and say, everybody hustle. We need to get the power on right now.
You make that call, nobody receives it.
There's people around me, though. There was security and science people.
Oh, people who are within shouting distance. Yes, absolutely.
Within shouting distance.
Yep, no, they get it. Okay. They sort of look to you in a case of, how do we get power back on right now?
Try using the phase inverters to stimulate the power coil. Maybe we can get some temporary power, but we have to get power online now.
Okay, so are you reactivating the warp engine then?
Yes.
Alright. You can make me a control engineering roll, a difficulty 4. You're trying to do a very limited start quickly from a complete cold.
Sure. Can somebody roll for me? I'm outside. I'm about to come back inside in 2 minutes or so.
Okay.
And do you want to use momentum?
You have one of those.
Yeah, I'll use a momentum with the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
And plus,
right.
Do you want to give a threat? Because it is 4.
Yeah, I'll give a threat. Definitely.
Also, have you used your determination? Right. I don't remember if you have or not.
Let me see what my character sheet looks like. I'm on my phone outside, so give me.
Yeah. I'm looking at your sheet because I just started getting stuff ready to roll for you, and your determination shows as unused.
All right,
unless you count down rather than count up. If you count down, it shows as used. If you count up, it shows as unused.
I don't know at all, really.
I think he didn't use. I don't think he used one last game.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
All right.
I didn't. Yeah, I'll use a determination.
I'll put that in. Okay, so that's used. So you've got 2 automatic successes and you're rolling 4 dice. So difficulty 4. Okay, so I will tell you, you have scored a complication there, and you have no momentum to do anything about that unless you've got a talent or something that you want to use. You do have cautious engineering, which allows you to re-roll one of the dice because you did use momentum.
Yeah, I'll use cautious momentum or cautious engineering. I mean.
Okay, that gets you out the complication. So that is a total of 2 additional successes, taking you up to 2 momentum. Okay, so you get the warp core back online. It is coming in from a cold start, so it's got very, very little power. But it prioritizes life support as the first system to get back online. As a result of which, an announcement will be heard across the ship that says, "Minimal power detected. Power increasing. If power holds at current levels, life support failure in 60 minutes. If it increases further, life support will be stabilized."
I'll have to increase it.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. It's now up from a cold start. You've got 2 momentum, and you can make me a roll at difficulty 3, control engineering. want to consume any of those momentum that we just got?
Yeah, I'm going to use one momentum, and I'm going to give you a threat.
Okay, so rolling 4 dice. Okay.
And I'm just going to roll normal dice because I can't really get my computer. I don't know how to roll on it yet, so I'm going to have to learn that soon.
Fair. Okay. Do you want me to roll it for you?
I got. Yeah. So 2 successes so far.
Okay.
Another 2 successes.
Okay, that takes you back up to the 2 momentum you were at previously. Another message sounds out across the ship that says, minimum safe power for life support restored. All other ship functions offline.
Good job, team. I knew that would work. Let's try to get some of our functionary computers working. We need to get at least helm controls up. We need to get a couple other things up, but let's stick here and try to give the ship a little bit more power.
All right, and I'm going to shift the camera to Johnson. Johnson, I believe you're sprinting to main engineering. Is that correct?
I thought he left main
Computer
engineering.
core.
Oh, you're going to the computer core. Okay, all right.
Yes.
You can give me a fitness security roll, please, to see if you're able to get there in super quick time down the shafts and tubes, because it is a decent distance away. It's going to be difficulty 3.
Control?
No fitness.
Control security. Yeah.
Why? Why control?
He's an android.
That doesn't allow you to just substitute one core stat for another.
Unless you have a talent or something that specifically...
Yeah. Unless you've got something that allows you to do the swap, it would be fitness security.
Let's see. 1 success.
All right. 1 success. So yeah, you don't get there in super quick time. You sort of use the turbo lift shafts as the straightest route, but you are aware that it'll take you a little bit of time to get there at your current rate. Your body was not built for this. Okay, Karava, we pivot the camera over to you. You have successfully restrained the Klingon along with your team of people. She's physically in your grasp. You are aware that the brig probably doesn't have active force fields currently. What is your plan?
I'm assuming that the brig will probably have some sort of binders or some sort of like, I'm trying to think like handcuffs or something, something along those lines.
That's a safe assumption.
So we're going to friendlyly escort her back to the brig, and we're gonna go chain her up. We're gonna go tie her up.
All right. You get her back there without any real difficulty. In terms of how well you bind her, you can give me a control security difficulty 2.
Yep. Also, at the beginning of each session, do I add 1 extra determination? 1 point of determination?
So that I'm gonna say no, because this is the same, like, effectively combat scenario. You would get it back though, like the moment this scene ends.
You could also challenge a value if you haven't already to get another one.
Oh, that's right. Let me think. Wait, what's difficulty again?
2.
2. Oh, yep, 2. I'm gonna. How many? Whatchamacallit do we have momentums?
You currently have 2.
I will spend 1 momentum and have 3 dice because we're gonna make sure she can't escape.
Absolutely. Okay, do that.
Yeah, that's my primary objective. So I'm gonna try her. Oh wait.
All right.
Succeed or... Oh yeah, I did.
You did. You very much did. So you gain 1 extra momentum, which takes you back up to 2.
Yep.
And yeah, you bind this woman very firmly. You don't just do it by the wrists. You do it by the ankles. You've got one around the waist. The only thing that stops you doing it around the neck is that's illegal. This woman is chained up like she's a tiger at a zoo.
Can I put her like in? Can we like chain her up and make her like to put her in a fetal position or something to make sure she can't wriggle out at all? What does that mean?
Do you have? I'm going to say that as a Federation security cadet, you know this without kind of having to do a roll, which is deliberately restraining a person in a very uncomfortable position for a prolonged period of time, which is what that would be. Unless it's absolutely strictly necessary, is going to be against lawful treatment of prisoners rules.
Okay. Well, we don't know what she's done, but she's very classified. But I'll say I won't do that then, because that's not really Federation-y. So she will be regularly tied up with by her legs and stomach and hands. And they're tied to the wall or something. I don't know. Make sure like she doesn't hop away.
Okay, all
right. Wait, has she eaten yet?
Has she eaten? You can assume that she ate a meal like before the simulation began, and yeah, that the simulation hasn't been running that long.
Yeah. All right then. I'll sort of I'll have Carver. She'll just sort of she'll go back and sort of trying to play meek again. And she was sort of like, I apologize, but you're not supposed to leave the brig area. She'll say, as she sort of looks down. She'll purposely not make eye contact and just like look down, away, like trying to be as scared as possible of the Klingon.
Oh no, this lady will take the exact opposite approach, and will fix you with a truly steely glare. And just go, pah! A manner fools no one. And then she just starts looking around and checking her environment.
And she's like, oh no, and just she'll just sort of shrink back a little bit. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
If you need anything to eat or to drink, just let me know. While you're a prisoner, you need to be treated nicely.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you have successfully restrained this prisoner and have done very well and beaten out GM expectations. I was expecting her to be way more of a problem than she has been, and she might be yet. But now,
yeah, I'm not leaving that area.
Yeah. We turn the camera over to Cadet Padar, who's still in medical with various injured people. Everyone here has been stabilized, and you're into the world of long-term care, and fresh arrivals have not been coming in.
Hey, well, I'm gonna try something. You have people with brain damage, right? With power damage.
You do, and it's very unusual brain damage. And I said last time that it's as though their mind has passed through too many dimensions very briefly, or existed in too many dimensions very briefly. I should stress that when I say dimension, I don't mean alternate reality. I mean that something that is designed to live in three-dimensional space has been forced to exist in seventh-dimensional space, and then come back to three-dimensional space, and this has done weird stuff to it.
Basically, they got Cthulhu.
Yeah.
What was the difficulty to treat them?
The difficulty to treat these guys, particularly in a powerless environment, is gonna be 5.
I have field medicine, so even without the proper tool, I can ignore any increase in difficulty for working without the proper tools. So does that get it down to 4, say?
Yeah, I'll let that go down to 4 because it's still obscenely difficult even with the proper tools.
I'll spend 2 momentum to get the difficulty down to 2 because of cutting edge medicine.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, down to difficulty 2.
It does raise my complication range, though.
Okay.
I'm going to spend a determination. Every problem has a solution.
All right.
And my determination with that value, that gives me an automatic 2 success. And I still roll reason plus medicine, I imagine.
Yes, you would still roll reason plus medicine. You'd roll the 2 dice. What did the complication range go up to as a result of your move?
It went up to 3.
All right, I'm going to consume 2 threat, push that to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, you can roll those 2 dice.
I'm gonna. Well, I'll still have 2 success, so I'm basically rolling to see if I get a complication.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I do.
You do. And you consume 2 momentum to take the difficulty down, so you have no momentum to buy that off. And you didn't consume momentum dice, so stuff like cautious won't help you. So unless you think you've got anything that gives you... Alright. So, you are working away. There's more than one patient. And with... I'll say that you're working on 3 of them. There are more than this, but you're working on 3 at the moment. With the first 2 of them, you're able to seemingly restore brain function. They kind of go into a restorative coma state because they've had a hell of a lot of trauma, but that was your plan anyway. You'd have these people in a medically induced coma as part of the initial stages of their recovery, but their brain, at least physically, is on the route. You won't really know what's happened to them psychologically until they wake up. With one of them, however, you're altering their brain again. You're bringing it back into proper state, and you're able to anchor through it, so it goes from 7 dimensions to 3 dimensions. However, as you do this, you are aware that you negatively affect something else in the brain, and the brain stops being able to carry out proper, I think the phrase is autonomic function. The heart will no longer beat on its own, the lungs will no longer, diaphragm won't go up and down on its own. That's now being taken over by computer function, and you can't really see how to restore that at the moment, and there's a risk of cascade failure. Well, it would be a cascade failure in a positronic brain, but cascading failures. This person is now at extreme risk of brain death.
I got 2 of them out of it, at least.
Yes, you did.
Cardassian thinking.
Okay. Well, it's certainly, particularly if this were conventionally real, would certainly be worth a journal entry. You almost forget this is a simulation sometimes, but one of these patients, and that's the point of these simulations. But one of these people, you've probably fucked them up for life. We now turn the camera to Cadet Hines, who is currently by the utterly wrecked main computer core that is open to space with a piece of subspace rock rammed into it. You've received the message about the restoring of basic life support, but everything else appears to be down. What do you do?
If I remember correctly, last game, I think he was just kind of waiting for something. I might be wrong.
I think for Johnson was sprinting to the main computer core.
In that case, yeah, I'll just wait. I think I've got all the scans I can get with my tricorder, and I'm pretty sure me and Corvinus are not going to try to jump in that. We have our EV suits on. I think we mentioned something about that. Okay, so yeah, we're
both have EV suits on.
Yeah, because if the tricorder tells me that there's some kind of subspace fluctuation in there, he's not going in there. So yeah, we're just gonna wait for Johnson.
Okay. It takes a while because Johnson's got a long way to go, but Johnson does eventually reach you. Johnson, reach Cadet Hines and Cadet Corvinus, although Cadet Corvinus is kind of like hanging around in the back and not doing much. What do you do?
Hey, how's the computer core looking?
It looks like crap. In fact, it doesn't really exist anymore. So, you know, I don't know what to do about that because Starship computer cores are kind of designed to run the entire ship. I know we got the auxiliary computer core down on deck, insert number here, but I don't know if that is even able to handle the function of the main computer core, or if it's even in working condition.
Well, we at least need to get that, whatever it is, off the computer core. Because it's the main cause of... I believe it's the main cause of what's going on with the ship.
Well, He glances down at the tricorder, hits a couple buttons, shakes his head and says, we could get some worker bees out there with tractor beams and pull the... Was it an asteroid that hit it, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, it's a subspace altered asteroid.
Okay. Yeah, we could get some worker bees out there. I mean, we're not moving. It's not like we're at warp. We could just get some worker bees or maybe a shuttle out there and just pull it out. But the computer core is gone. It's obliterated, if I remember correctly. So we're still going to have to go back down to the auxiliary computer core to get that thing in working condition.
We can't do anything until that thing's already gone, because it may turn around and actually go to the auxiliary and
anything could happen.
Yeah.
Well, we need it. I think we. Velik is here. I mean, as a science officer, the two of us could probably go get a worker bee or a small shuttle and get out there and manually get it out. I don't think there's a way to get it out from here, unless we want to get out and push it, which I don't recommend.
How small is it, do you think?
Yeah, GM, how big is this rock?
It is... Well, when I say it's about the size of a house, that is slightly misleading. It is about the size of a house, but imagine a 2-story house arranged into just a 1-story long house. It's kind of shaped like a dart.
Yeah, so we're going to need a shuttle. Yeah, or a worker bee at the very least. We're not going to be able to do this by hand.
Yeah, shuttle is the best bet.
And just looking at my tricorder map to see where the nearest shuttle bay is, it looks like there's 2 decks above us.
Yeah.
So we'll leave Corvinus here to kind of guard it, I guess, to make sure like nobody runs in there and gets twisted into another dimension. But and he hits his combat, it says Johnson to bridge, and then he kind of just relays everything that they've discussed. I don't know how you want to handle Velik's situation, if you just want to use him at NPC or just have some hologram take over the bridge, but he basically is asking for permission to get to that shuttle and get out there and manually remove it with a tractor beam.
You're aware that when you get a signal back, it's from Velik, it's very, very weak, very faint, like it's having to pass through a lot of interference, which wasn't a problem a few minutes ago. So something has changed, but can just about make out that he's giving an all clear to that suggestion.
All right. Yeah, we should hurry. I think this interference is getting worse, and he just bounds up at the nearest Jeffries tube.
Yep. The flight decks are very, very nearby.
Yeah.
And I tell Corvinus make sure to keep a safe enough distance as well.
Yeah. If Corvinus just hangs around there for too long, weird shit might start happening. But yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're able to bound up through those Jeffrey tubes quite without much difficulty. It is very close. And you get up to the shuttle bay. The shuttles all appear to be functional. They all of their internal power is working. The shuttle bay doors are closed.
Right.
And the power to open those doors is not present. But if you want, you make me a difficulty 1. Actually, no, I'll give it to you for free. This is basic Starship knowledge. There should be a manual crank, like, somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that, and even if we didn't, I think we would just hook up another shuttle to the power relay and force it open with the power from the shuttle or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Who's piloting? Which one of us has the best piloting? Let's see. I got a con of 1 and but a control of 11, so I'm at 12.
Okay.
So
Here's
it's
the
best
question.
because I've got a control of 10.
Gotcha.
Yeah, here's the key question.
Con of
Who's
1.
gonna do the manual hand crank?
Let's see. Engineering, I'm guessing, right? That'd probably be Johnson, because I think he's an ops.
Is it A3 in engineering?
Mine too.
Yeah, it'll be a fitness engineering. It's not difficult, but it takes way.
How's your fitness?
8. I'm guessing yours is 8 too.
Yeah.
Well, you could, if you do the main roll, I can assist.
Yeah.
Okay, that would involve you like
We can
both
work
being
together.
both with your hand on the crank. Yep.
I mean, we're both in EV suits. I mean, we just, but there's gonna be like a decompression thing, though. Do we have any momentum?
You do have momentum. You've got... Oh no, you've got 0. You have no momentum.
Okay. We need to figure out a way. We might have to use the.
Johnson's not on.
Oh yeah,
Johnson's not in EV suits.
Yeah, but you can still be sucked out. You know, once we start. I guess if we open it slow enough, it won't be a big problem. We just get sucked into a crack. But I was also thinking, we could just activate the shuttle shields and extend the shuttle shields around, the bulkhead and kind of do it that way. I was just gonna spend 2 momentum to have it so that we can have it happen rather than have to physically do it. That's why I was asking. But there's gonna be some kind of decompression issue. Actually, oh wait. Let me read. I got a talent. Let me read it. It might help us. It's a talent everyone always uses, but I always forget what it does. Because let's see, where is it? It would be in the human. All right. I'm gonna spend 1 determination to add 3 points to the group momentum pool, and I'm going to use the value of control the situation because that is what we are doing. Or did I already use a determination last game?
I think I did. Oh, okay.
Because I remember saying something about be the best of the new generation. I feel like
yeah.
I did.
I'm going into the older notes because it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got it here that Heinz and Thiessen both use determinations.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, man, so I can't do that.
So how much? So what is the role? Main role? How do I have to hit?
So to like crank open the door, it's going to be fitness security. If you fail, you still like open it, but you might not open it to the degree you want to. If that's your task.
Is Heinz actually working with Johnson? Heinz?
It appears so.
I mean, I'm trying to.
Yeah. Can I use a determination teamwork?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're working as a team to try and get this thing open.
Yep.
Okay. And what was the did you say if there was a, did you tell us what the difficulty was, or I missed that?
Yeah, with 2 people working on it. The difficulty is going to be 2. This isn't super difficult, but yeah, there may be an issue of you not. If you get it wrong, this could go quite badly wrong.
Right.
Okay. All right. You already used a determination to get 2 successes, I think, so that puts you over the top.
Yeah, 3. And don't forget about your roll.
Yeah, I actually almost did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay, excellent.
one.
Right, now, you start cranking it open. Do you want to do the just open it a little bit, or do you want to open it quite some way?
Well, it depends on if we figured out the decompression problem, because
Yeah.
You know,
Right. I'll allow one of you, but only one of you, to make a insight engineering or insight medicine, your choice, difficulty 1.
I've got a 13 total. What do you got?
13 total.
Okay. Well, I'm actually, my character's actually gonna join the medical school after this year, so he can be in another 4 years in this school. So I'm gonna go ahead and do
You
that.
can do that.
Yeah. I'm also at difficulty
Yeah.
1. I think I'm good. Let's see.
I think
Yep,
it
I got
would be best if
Okay.
you.
Oh man, I did
Okay,
it
you got
tonight,
it.
but it's the same thing anyway.
Excellent. So you realize that if you just do the open it a small bit plan, then unless you're properly secured, one of you is likely to go whoosh, smack up against the gap, and then keep being sucked.
Yeah.
This may result into you turning into spaghetti.
Yeah.
If, however, it's open quite a way, then you just get blasted into space as a whole unit.
Right. Well, then let's go with my original plan. And well, actually, we have 2 momentum now. Can we just say we create an advantage with the 2 momentum and say that we can extend our shuttle shields to the area where we're standing to basically equalize the pressure, and that way when we open it, it doesn't suck us out?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay. I
Yes.
was like, oh, I need that momentum, and we got it. So.
Okay, back down to 0 momentum. So you bring up a shuttle, you extend its shields, you operate the hand crank to get the shuttle bay doors open, which you successfully do, and then you climb back inside your shuttle without any difficulty. Now, pivot the camera back down to Thizan. So you are in a minimally functioning engineering room with a warp core, just about ticking along on bare minimum power. What is your next move?
I'm gonna have security. The guy that's with me. Please bring these handful of batteries, computer batteries. They're short term, but at least we might have a little bit better communication. Go to the bridge directly, and then try to go to secondary computers and see what's going on.
Okay, you kind of is the point of the batteries to boost communication.
So we were having trouble with communication. I'm thinking if the the bridge has a little bit of power, like from the batteries, to maybe boost communication through the ship, because it's like the main part of the ship, I guess.
That's right. You know that the reason why you're having communication difficulties, especially since you're at the station with all the bright blinky terminals, is that the internal comms relays are out, and there are loads of those across the ship, and all of the decks and all of the reinforcement and all of the extra stuff that gets in the way, which normally wouldn't be a problem on a planet or in the open space, is causing a lot of difficulty with the communicators. If you boost the bridge's communicator relay, it's only going to help the sections of the ship that are near the bridge.
Well, then scratch that plan. Let's focus on getting power up a little bit more. Hopefully we can restore some subsystems on this deck, at least.
Alright. You can make me a control engineering difficulty 2. It's now out of the sort of dangerous low power state. It's easier to control.
Alright. Ooh. I got 1 success and 1 failure.
Okay, so you try... I'm guessing it wasn't a critical failure, it was just a normal failure.
Just a normal failure.
Okay, so you try to bring the power back up a little bit, but you can't. It's like having difficulty getting out of a low power state. The balance of the various key elements is just off, and it's sluggishly and inappropriately reacting to your attempts to manipulate it.
Maybe I could put batteries on the power substations on one of the consoles underneath the computer. Give it a boot.
Like, you could, but that's a bit like trying to jumpstart a Boeing 747 with a 9-volt battery. It's like the levels of power involved in both of those are just so massively disproportionate. So you could try, but it'll be very, very difficult.
Alright, no, scratch that. I don't know what to do then.
Okay. Well, what was the other idea you had? You did mention it.
Bringing the battery packs to the bridge.
No, before. What were you going to do after your guy got battery packs to the bridge? You did mention a second order.
Oh, go to the secondary computer area and see what's going on. See if it's accessible.
Yep, you could still try that. Do you want to send someone to do it, or do you want to do it yourself?
I'll go myself.
Okay, that'll take a bit of time. You'll easily be able to get there at the sort of change of the next scene, to movie token. But we now shift our camera back to Cadet Padar. I don't know if he is sufficiently sort of detached from this simulation to feel a degree of shock about the fact that he may have just next to killed a patient, or has he been completely consumed by the ultra-real simulation in front of him?
Oh, he's utterly consumed by the utterly real situation, but he is arrogant, so was the right thing. Cardassian.
Okay, so you've somewhat successfully attempted this brain surgery in miraculous fashion. What next?
Everybody's stable?
Yeah, everybody here is stable. Some people are going to be in like very long-term care. Some people you're just like holding over until proper medbay functionality can be restored, at which point you're going to need surgery. But without, like, yeah, people here are going to be stable for the next 2 hours. After that, some of their conditions are going to start getting worse again.
Not out of this in 2 hours anyway. We're dead.
So what are you thinking of doing next? Do you want to continue working in the medical bay, or do you want to go elsewhere in the ship?
I'm gonna check if we have some batteries first. Lying around somewhere in a...
Oh yes, the medical bay will be one of the sections of the ship that has a battery stashed in a break in case of emergency container. It won't be big, but it'll be there.
It'll be enough to get the guy who's in life support going for a while.
Yeah, it'll probably tide that over for a bit, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do, to make sure he survives long enough to get treatment.
Excellent. You give me a control medicine or control engineering, your choice. I think I know which one you'll choose. Difficulty
Yeah,
1.
There you go.
Excellent. Okay, so that is successful. You successfully power up the life support, and you tide that over, and it's going to be okay even with the wider loss of ship power. And he is going to be fine as well for the next 2 odd hours.
That'll be enough to get him to a fully operational sickbay.
It should
Maybe
be, and if it isn't, there are bigger problems.
Yeah, there is that.
Alright, we pan the camera at Hines and Johnson, who have now successfully gotten in a short-range runabout and are able to, leave. The bay is open.
All right,
The open space in front of you.
who should
Okay.
fly? Did we decide that? I don't remember. Did we decide who should pilot?
So you wanna do it?
Sure. My control and con are 12. Also, I took a old shuttlecraft character sheet and changed a couple things so that we can have an assist from the ship. And we
I see it here.
should be able to. And we're still in the shuttle bay, right? We haven't physically left.
Oh yeah, you haven't
Okay.
taken off yet, but there will be no difficulty.
Okay, so it'll be difficulty 0 basically.
Well, as in, like, there'll be no difficulty leaving the landing bay. I'm not going to make you do any rolls until you want to do something fancy with the asteroid.
Oh, okay.
Routine.
Then we just fly over to the asteroid. I want to run a scan on the asteroid specifically to try to find out how it's been affected and modified, and maybe if there's something inside of it that we can maybe do something with, or is it just a weird asteroid? Because I don't want to start pulling it out and then it, like an antimatter bomb explode inside of it or something.
Makes complete sense. So you can do a reason science assisted by the ship's sensors science.
Okay, and we're down to 0 momentum, so let's see. That's, I can't use determination. I have studious, so I will be able to get a free question if I succeed.
Good.
Alright, and since we have another science officer, can Johnson also assist?
Yeah, I'll allow that. I just rolled for the ship, but yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, that's not great. And you don't have any momentum to buy out.
I
of any
didn't
of
roll.
that.
Oh, that's
Not my roll.
that's the shuttle.
It's not my roll.
That's the shuttle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna roll for it, and then I was like, and then when you said you roll for it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Can you roll for
Okay,
yourself?
alright, well, fortunately,
I'll do
Johnson.
reason.
Roll for Johnson.
you could with one
Yeah.
dice.
Oh,
Alright.
Okay. So...
yeah,
you'd
nothing.
already rolled 2 dice, I'm not going to lie to you
Yeah.
for one. So... You take these scans, and you don't get any new information that you didn't already get from your tricorder readings, namely that this is a subspace rock that doesn't quite exist in this reality normally, which is why you can't see it. You can only pick it up on sensors, and you can't really tell why it's the way it is. You just know it's bathed in some form of subspace harmony that is according with your ship's warp signature.
Right. So I'm gonna look over to Johnson. I'm gonna say, all right. So it's there's some kind of subspace dimensional flux going on here. Our sensors aren't giving us a whole lot of information, but maybe we could tune our tractor beam to the same subspace frequency to be able to pull it out. Because I'm guessing if we try to just pull the asteroid out with our normal tractor beam, it'll either just go right through it, it won't lock on, or it'll cause some kind of feedback. So do you think, Cadet Johnson, we could try to tune the tractor beam itself to be able to interact in that subspace realm?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how do we do
possible,
that?
Yes.
I'll allow that. So there's going to be 2 rolls. The first one is going to be a reason science roll to tune tractor beam, and the second one is probably going to be a control engineering roll to use the tractor beam. The reason science roll will be difficulty 3.
Difficulty 3. Okay.
Gonna roll for them.
Do you don't have any? You already used your determination, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we don't have any momentum. So I'm gonna
And
give.
you'll be assisted by the ship's computer science.
Right. I'm gonna give the GM 1 threat to get an extra dice.
Okay.
I'm gonna use quantum mechanics focus.
That's my success if you...
Okay.
I'll help with you.
Alright. Yeah, I think that's it. I have studious, and I'm a science officer. I forgot I can ask 2 questions if I succeed. So here we go. Nice!
Alright.
4 successes. What about the ship?
4 successes, so that's one momentum. And yeah, you are able to successfully tune the tractor beam to have like maximal effect.
Okay.
If you've got any questions in mind, feel free to ask them.
Okay, so the first question is going to be, now that I have questions, I can't think of any. The first question is going to be, can we, with the shuttle's sensors, it doesn't have to be right this second, but like in the future, can we deduce the trajectory of the asteroid to find out its starting location?
You can make a guesstimate. The difficulty is your ship has been moving, albeit cruising on momentum, for quite some time.
Yeah.
And lost most of your positional data. So the calculation of its origin is going to be thrown off by the fact that you don't have precise data for where it's been for the past hour.
Right.
As it's been drifting through space.
We probably get
you
a
can
sector
try
block or something.
You'll get an estimation. Yeah.
Okay. The other question with Studious is going to be, can we figure out the best way to remove this with the tractor beam that isn't going to cause a worse structural integrity or possibly quantum and mechanics and entanglement issue as we're trying to pull this thing out. I don't want to basically pull it out and the entire deck just collapse in on itself or something.
Okay. In terms of the entire deck collapsing in on itself, if it does do that, it's not going to have anything to do with the subspace signature. It'll be having to do with stuff that might be resting its weight on the asteroid. So just pure conventional mechanical physics. There is one thing, however, that you realize as a result of asking that question, which is that once this thing is being attracted to things like magnets, so as long as you are outputting this subspace resonance, it won't stop moving towards you. And when you turn it off, the warp resonance that's active for your ship again may pull it back. So you've got to think of some kind of a way to stop it bouncing around like a magnet.
Okay, so when you say you, do you mean our shuttle?
Yeah, you realize that if you turn on the tractor beam and pull this thing towards you, and you keep the tractor beam on, you will spear yourself.
Right. Oh, okay. In which case, I guess I'll just... So, I turn to... This is purely in-character fluff. I don't expect, an actual, miracle here. But I turn to Cadet Johnson and I say, we might actually just do to this shuttle what just happened to... What was the name of the ship again?
It is the... Hang on.
I know it's a Nebula class. I just forgot the name of it.
It is a Nebula class. Hang on. Safety, co-first machine, Starbase 27721. Yeah, I think it's something. It's the Phoenix.
The Phoenix, right? Yeah, we could possibly, and of course, because our ship is way smaller, it would probably just obliterate the ship. And then once we need to figure out a way. If we could perhaps go ahead.
Yes, we need to magnetize that from...
yes, reverse the polarity, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. So we could project with our deflectors. We could cause a reverse polarity field around our ship, so that as soon as we pull it out, it basically just sits there. Because it's going to eventually go back towards the Phoenix because there's power, but it will not, hopefully, go back towards the Phoenix too quickly. Or additionally, we could remote control a shuttle with full warp power away from the Phoenix and have this thing go towards it. Either way, we need to figure out how to get the shuttle, or not the shuttle, the Phoenix away from it as well. Because once we pull this thing out, the Phoenix has to restore power eventually, and it's just gonna turn around and go right back. But as you said, maybe instead of reversing the polarity of our shuttle, we could reverse the polarity of the subspace harmonics, kind of cause it to go, collapse in on itself or something. I mean, it's already halfway in subspace anyway. Maybe we can send it all the way to subspace.
Yeah.
But how to do that?
That's a good question.
You can give me a reason science difficulty. You've already got a lot of sensor data on this, so a reason science difficulty 3 to help you answer that question.
All right, where are we at on momentum? We have one.
One.
Hans. I gave him the idea to do it, and I'll just let Hans think of the way.
I just wish I had better
So
talents.
he can get credit for it.
Because do you have any decent talents that will let you get either more dice or something? What does untapped potential do again? Let me look that up.
I think it gives you...
Let's see. Whenever a character succeeds at a task, so basically I already have to succeed. Okay, so that's good in the future. Like after I succeed with this, that'll be something to use, which I probably could have used several times before, but I just forgot. Let's see. I guess I'll have to either use that momentum or give threat. Do you have anything better on your character sheet, Matt?
I have to literally be. I have only one talent that actually just lets me interface with the ship to gain like extra.
Wouldn't that?
Neuro interface.
Yeah, wouldn't that help though?
And this is a role the ship could assist with. Let me have a look. I'm going to say computer science.
Okay, so if you connect to the ship, you may re-roll. Hold on. May re-roll the D20 gained from using the ship system. So basically, you'll be when the ship assists, you'll be able to re-roll that ship assist if you connect to it.
Yeah.
So maybe you should do the main roll and I'll assist. I also have advisor, but that relies on if the GM wants me. It would allow me to kind of use more of a directing assist, like, hey, here's the idea, do it, and then Johnson does it, rather than a scientific assist.
I will allow that. Yeah.
Okay. In which case, if my advisor talent, let me grab it, because I took that because I was a teacher's aide or something like that. Basically, you may re-roll 1 d20, so you can re-roll 2 d20s if we use those two talents.
Yes.
Okay.
So as a minor action, I unbuckle my wrist and connect it to the systems.
Okay.
Itself.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the only way I could do it.
Also, you should spend the momentum to get a dice.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend the momentum, and I will be connected to the
Okay, so yeah, roll me those 3 dice, and then from your main sheet, and then
reason
one from
science?
reason science, and then someone roll the computer science, the ship assist.
Okay, I'll do that after I roll my assist real quick.
Your own assist. Yep, excellent. Okay, so we've currently got 2. Let's see what the ship does.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay,
I can re-roll them 2 dice.
Yep.
Well, you can only re-roll one of them.
Re-roll
one of your
one.
re-rolls is linked to the ship, so you can re-roll the complication.
Yeah.
Alright, so
I'm gonna have to ask you to re-roll that as a single dice because you can only re-roll one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's still
you
gonna
get
go on.
Yeah, you get 4 successes over 3, so that's 1 momentum, and you are able to work out that collapsing this thing like completely into subspace whilst it's wedged inside your ship is probably not the best idea in the world.
No, I meant take
But-
it out first and then do that.
Even then, but what you can more easily than pushing it further into subspace is you can work out the resonances necessary to turn this just back into a meteor and effectively fully translate it back into your world.
Probably the easier idea. I should have come up with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, he goes. He relays that to. How are we going to come up with the resonancy to do that? Yeah.
Well, the tractor beam already projects a beam around the asteroid. All we have to do is tune the tractor beam's subspace frequency to be polarized to the frequency that is, not the asteroid, and it should bring it back completely into a non-subspace realm.
That's correct. And I will allow you, since you've already done a lot of jiggery pokery, in fact, I won't even make you do another roll to set the tractor beam to that, because you've already significantly adjusted the tractor beam and you have worked out all the theory. So yeah, you can just set that now that you've worked it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
At which point, it will then be a control engineering graded difficulty to get the meteorite out. I'm going to say difficulty 3 is your bare minimum success level. But if you get successes above difficulty 3, it will limit further structural damage as you pull this thing out. If you get under 3, then bad, or maybe complications, bad things will happen.
Yeah, I think you should do this one since you're already connected to the ship with your Neuralink. That'll allow us at the very least to re-roll the ship. I don't think I can use advisor on this one though.
I'm going to say for the ship, it's going to be computers and engineering for the tractor beam. And it'll be control engineering for the PCs.
Alright.
I'm going to give you 2 threat.
Okay.
That.
I'm going to assume, unless you're doing anything else to push up your complication range, I'm going to consume 3 threat to put this at complication range 5.
Ooh.
Hang on.
I want to re-roll that D8, that middle one, because that's in the complication range.
Yeah, that's in the complication range, yep.
Is it? Yep. I had to hover over it.
Yep, you've got the 1 momentum to do that.
That'll be it.
The ship one, right?
Basically because...
No.
because I'm still connected to the chip by the Neuralink.
Oh, actually,
We got 2 complications.
you've got 2 complications. And more complication.
So
Yeah.
we still have 2
So,
complications.
yeah. You got, alas, I don't think you've got any more jiggery pokeries to get out of that.
I get 6.
Begin to take out the meteorite, and this is like doing surgery with a tractor beam. It is not designed to be this precise of a... Try to take it out as straight as you possibly can. But as you're pulling it out, the various alterations that you have made to the tractor beam cause it to sputter and briefly, and so you lose control partly of the rock, and it swings on a pivot like it was a pendulum. It's already most of the way out of the ship, so this isn't utterly devastating, but it does take a good solid chunk out of all the decks below the computer core in like a straight line.
They'd already been
as it
evacuated, right?
Yeah. as
Just
it
wanna
just
make sure.
carves through them and smacks out the bottom of the saucer section, leaving a very big hole that is just oozing liquids and gases and so forth into the void.
Is it coming back towards
But
us?
no, the rock is clear. It's now
Oh,
just
okay.
a rock.
Good.
It is behaving exactly as it would normally. You are aware that there's one other of these lodged in the ship somewhere, but you now just have a rock.
All right.
All right. And whilst you're reflecting on
Yeah.
the horrendous thing that maybe just happened, we will pivot the camera over briefly to Karava. I don't know what Karava's plan is, but as you are vigilantly watching the Klingon, you are aware that somewhere, like in the ship, you feel the whole thing rock and shudder and shake. You hear a boom, crunch, 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 smash.
Is the brig stable?
Yeah, the brig is stable.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Are the comms open? Or are they still down?
If you tap your comm badge, only people very close to you will be able to hear it. The long-range comms in the ship are out.
Okay, I'm gonna do that for short range, and I'm gonna ask. Can you find out what just happened? Like, what's happening out there? I'm saying this while I'm still watching the Klingon, making sure if she does any strange movements, I'm gonna be there.
Okay. So one or two people sort of like go off and try finding out the answer to that question. It's not long until someone comes back in a slightly worried and panicked state and says that it's all of the sections directly underneath the computer core. They're just gone.
Oh my god. Well, do I know? I have an engineering background a little bit. Would I know how important the computer is? Like, is that going to mean the ship can't fly anymore?
You know that if the primary and secondary computer cores are gone, then yeah, this ship ain't going nowhere. However, as long as one of them is functional, the ship will be able to move.
Okay. I don't think we need to necessarily. Is there any shuttle pods or anything still on the ship?
There are plenty of shuttles in shuttle bays. Yeah.
Alright. I guess I'll confirm with the team. Yep.
You wouldn't automatically know that if both of them were at the computer. There won't be any power. The ship.
Okay, so it's still power. So at least one stable. Okay. I need to think. Could we? I'm trying to think about I'm thinking of the idea of basically having me and the security team take a whole bunch of shuttle pods. Like, this is just the worst case scenario. But the idea is we want to try and hide our signal. Is there a way to sort of make us appear as Klingons?
What, with the
enemy
shuttles?
Yeah, with enemy scanners or whatever.
Are we in Klingon space?
No, you're in Federation space.
But the idea is, if there's someone out here, they're gonna be trying to look through like a whole bunch of shuttles. If everybody on the shuttles are Klingon, it's gonna be much harder for them to sort of get the right ship.
Oh, what, to conceal everybody's life signs and make them look like Klingons?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Is that possible?
This is a Federation space.
Yeah, it is Federation space.
We
You
could be attacked by Federation
that.
ships.
Yeah, that is something to worry about. So what you're talking about is theoretically possible, but it's going to involve a lot of shuttle pods working in concert. It will be tricky, but it will be possible.
Yeah, I'll flip this idea to the security team for the worst case scenario, but for the moment, see, I don't know, because I can't leave the prisoner, so
You can stay there guarding the prisoner.
You could
She is.
You could also just have Corvinus report back to the brig and leave Corvinus there, and then you go off and do whatever it is you want to do. Since Corvinus
Could
isn't
that
here.
would work?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's my job to guard the prisoner, though.
I mean,
If
you're
you
in
want to
charge
stay
of
there,
security.
we can pan the camera.
And okay, I'm gonna I guess I'll order first things first. I'll order I mean everyone's on high alert, but make sure look for most likely the reason why the ship's being interfered with like it is at the moment is to get this prisoner out. So they're the most important. I guess I could get Corvinus to back to guard the prisoner. I don't like that idea though. But I guess I'll do that. And I'll ask where am I? I'll ask security him to left, then came back. Where would my skills mostly be needed? Mostly engineering, security and engineering.
So I'll move Corvinus over to you. And in terms of your question of where would my skills mostly be needed, you get the suggestion. Well, you are in charge, man. That is your decision to make.
Okay, no, I mean in regards to engineering matters, like do they need people working on the secondary computer? Do they need somebody to?
They don't know the answer to that question. And also, like as a little hint, you get the feeling that part of the test is that you can work that out for yourself.
Alright, I'm gonna order double the amount of security because I'm not there to guard the prisoner. And make sure the patrols make sure that there's enough patrols and whatnot. When Corvinus comes back, I will head to somewhere.
Alright. Well, so you're thinking about where to head to.
Yeah.
Pivot the camera.
Maybe engineering, I guess.
What, to main engineering at the warp core?
Yeah, main engineering at the warp core.
Okay, you start heading towards main engineering at the warp core. We now pivot the camera to Cadet Thizan as you approach the secondary computer core. What do you do?
The door is not open, or is it open?
Well, the door is closed, but it's not locked. You do have to manually crank it, but it will otherwise open without much difficulty.
Alright, I'll manually crank it.
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll for that.
Alright, and upon first inspection, what do I see? Is the core lit up in any manner?
Okay. So the core is all there. It's like off as though it doesn't have power. So whatever little bits of power are going through are bits that don't require a computer core to automatically function, which is why it's only going to the really, really basic stuff like the gravity and life support and nowhere else. And if you want to diagnose it further, that will be an insight an insight engineering roll, difficulty 2.
Alright, I'll just take that. Let's see here. 2 successes.
Okay, so still on 0 momentum. You're able to work out that the computer core itself seems fine, but in the impact, its various links to the rest of the ship, it got a sudden power surge that it was not dealt with, not designed to deal with, and basically the fuses have all blown. So you wouldn't. The fundamentals of the computer core are intact. The fuses that are designed to protect it have all blown out.
So by all blown out, like, is there any way that I can attach a battery to a portion of the computer core, like say, I don't know, communications, like a temporary communications relay?
Have you had the fuse box in your house go?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Have you had the fuse box in your house go or surge? I ask only because
Basically, the safety valves are not broken.
Yeah, so because
Pretty
when,
much.
let's say the fuse box in your house goes, depending on what happens, two things can occur. You either just need to flick the fuse back on, or if the fuse is utterly blown out, you replace the fuse and then flick it back on. You're in that kind of scenario. Putting power into this without fixing the fuses will achieve nothing.
Okay, so I will try to replace the fuses. Would there be, like, say, a junction where they keep fuses, or any relay system that would have it?
Yeah, there absolutely would be spare fuses near this kind of installation. So I'll say replacing all the fuses is not tricky. You'll be able to succeed so long as you roll a single success. But the number of successes you get reflects how quickly you do it.
I have no momentum, so I'm going to give you threat.
Okay.
2 successes and a failure.
Okay, so with 2 successes, you're not going to generate momentum for that, but you estimate that it'll take you about 20 minutes to completely reset the entire fuse array, but you're fairly confident that once that's been achieved, the only other thing obstructing this computer working would be powering it, but the fuse situation would be completely sorted.
Alright, so there is auxiliary power, like, packs that I can use to help jumpstart it, and maybe cross some wires over to the main reactor or whatnot, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, the jump starting it, yeah, the batteries alone won't be able to keep this thing going, but it will be able to jump start it. In terms of linking it in to run directly off the power core, or the warp core, that is going to require some engineering, because if anything's going to make the fuses blow out again, it's that. But we can deal with that when we next pivot the camera to you. In the meantime, we will pivot over to medical and Cadet Padar. So, Cadet Padar, you have successfully stabilized the life support of this one particular person who was otherwise going to die quite quickly. What do you do next?
Because I'm gonna head to the bridge.
Okay, absolutely. Make me a fitness security for how quickly you can run there. It's going to be difficulty 3 because it's quite a long way to go.
One success.
Okay. So yeah, you don't get there very quickly. You are about a third of the way there, and you're panting and huffing and really breathing hard. Going through all these, clambering up the turbolift tube took more out of you than thought it would. But okay, we'll pivot the camera back round to Hines and Johnson in a shuttlecraft floating outside of the Phoenix, looking at the cloud of space debris that is currently billowing out the bottom of the ship.
Yeah, let's just go back to the ship before we fuck anything else up.
You're
At
aware
least,
that
yeah, at
there's-
least that.
Alright. Aware that there's one meteorite left in the ship.
Oh, right. Alright, so yeah, we'll fly over there, I guess.
It's near the rear. I'm not going to make you roll to fly to it. You can see that there was a fire in this section, and the fire is now out, but it has burnt away most of the impulse engines, but it at least is not raging anymore.
Alright.
Yeah. So Johnson goes, disconnects his self from the ship, and he goes,
Okay.
and he grabs a hold of his nose, as liquid comes from his nose.
Are you okay?
That hurt. For some reason.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Out of character, I forgot about that. So yeah, he gets up and says, yeah, I guess the internal relays of the ship's tractor beam gave you a feedback into your neural net, huh?
Yeah,
Well, hey, look, I'm gonna go to.
yeah.
I probably should wait to make this announcement, but I might as well tell you. I'm gonna take on medical school starting next year, so I might as well start somewhere. I know you're technically an android, but hey, it's something. So he'll just kind of look you over, but then he kind of gestures to the asteroid sticking out of the impulse engines and says, however, we got to figure that out, because I guess technically we could do the same thing we did with the bigger one, but we definitely want to do a better job, because if that thing, there's deuterium tanks in the back end of that ship. If we could do the same thing with that, it'll take out half the ship. So I'm gonna run a scan.
Yeah,
to
that's
see...
why.
Go ahead.
That's why I'm letting you take the lead on this one, because yeah, it caused some feedback on me.
I'll run a scan and see if we can narrow the confinement beam of the tractor beam a bit better, and hopefully get it out without so much collateral damage.
I'll allow you. You've already done a lot of tailoring, so this is going to be difficult. You already passed a Reason Science difficulty 3 to get it as good as it currently is. To make it better, it will be a Reason Science difficulty 4. But if for whatever reason you fail, you can still fall back on that Reason Science difficulty 3, and that solution won't get worse.
Okay. Well, where are we at on momentum? Are we at 0?
You're on none.
Yeah.
Keep just passing rolls.
Yeah. I will give you 2 threat.
Okay.
I'm sitting at the console. I'm gonna use my composure focus, because now he's like sweating, and
Yep.
If I would like to make a request to the GM to say that if there's a complication, not from the computer but from my end, that one of my vices is activated, and I'm kind of almost in the same situation that Johnson is with his physical ailment, I'll call it.
Okay.
To make it a bit more
absolutely.
interesting. Alright, 4 successes plus the ship assist, and I'm guessing Johnson's taking a breather in the back, so let's...
Yep. That'll be computer science with a ship assist.
Okay, I got a success, but I also got a complication. Whew. Wonder what that's gonna be.
Yeah, you have got a number of successes to do it. I'll roll for the ship since...
Okay.
So, computer science... Okay, so you get the 4 successes. You are able to successfully fine-tune the containment to, maybe hopefully avoid the sputter that you had last time, hopefully, and have a bit more of a stable lock. In terms of the vice, I can't immediately and easily see it on your sheet, so I'm not sure which one you're activating.
It's on the traits. Basically, the stress of what's going on at the moment has caused his the damage that has already been done to his lungs to kind of get worse, and now he's having trouble breathing. And
absolutely,
it's kind of like a really, 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 really bad version of asthma. And this is something that's just recently, in-game recently started. Like this, he hasn't had this for like his whole life or anything. But basically, he kind of is wheezing at the console as he kind of collapses to his knees, holding his chest.
You're wheezing. You might think you're having a heart attack at first, but not all the symptoms are quite there. Your vision's slightly blurry. When you cough, maybe some flecks come up in that, which is concerning, and take 2 points of stress to reflect that.
Okay.
As you hack and cough and splut, but you have managed to improve tractor beam, as a result of which the control engineering roll for the surgical extraction will go from a difficulty 3 to a difficulty 2. I am, however, going to consume threat to bump the complication range up to 5.
Oof. I don't think in game. I don't think he can do it at the moment. You might have to take over, Johnson.
It made it so that my character took some damage to the so currently it would take some time to heal for him, but I'll be able to walk over control science,
Control engineering to extract the it's difficulty 2, and it will be assisted by the ships. It's going to take out. It'll be assisted by computers engineering from the ship, and I can roll that.
and I'm gonna give you 2 threat.
Okay, and you're at complication range 5. Okay. Oh no. So, first of all, I noticed the bit about him taking 2 damage from the last game. That was the impact of the ship itself. He was like thrown to the ground and like bumped off of a beam. Okay, so unless you've got anything fancy, that is a failure with a complication.
No, because he's not connected to the thing.
All right.
And the only reason why I didn't reconnect him because he's ready at.
I'm gonna give you a choice. Your choice is between sacrifice and self-preservation. If you don't know or you don't want to make that, so self-sacrifice or self-preservation. And if you don't want to make that choice, I will just make it.
Can I make it for me or for my character? Because he's having trouble breathing, but he might still cognitively be able to do something at the last moment, basically.
Yep, you can. I'll let you. Definitely chip in on that decision.
Okay. So I'll let Mac. I'll let you make the decision for yourself. So like, if you want to do something, I'll let you make that decision first. But if you don't want to do it, then Heinz will do it.
I will say, if you don't both pick the same thing, I'll flip a coin.
Can I go against a value to re-roll?
Oh, well, yeah.
So challenge a value. I know challenging a value.
I'm challenging.
Yeah, would let you get.
It'll get you a determination, which then you can use to re-roll.
Yeah. You can do that. I don't know if does it let you re-roll the whole pool. I think it does.
It does.
Okay. Which value are you challenging?
Because he's inquisitive. Inquisiting explorer. He's basically he's
saying fuck the exploration. We're just trying to keep the ship from, we're just trying to fix the ship. Or
so I'm trying to stop exploring. I need to save these people.
Right.
Stop exploring.
Yeah.
I need these people alive.
His inquisitive nature has been challenged.
Yeah, that's an appropriate challenge to a value. You can re-roll the entire dice pool. I'm not sure if it lets you. I'll be generous and say it lets you re-roll the ship one as well. But remember to set your complication range at 5.
Yeah, it's ready at 5.
Ship.
I can't.
Okay.
Still complications, but at least we got a success.
Yeah. So, again, unless you got anything fancy, you are able to again extract the meteorite out like a knife from a wound once you've translated it back into conventional reality. However, as you do so, the upper pylon of the Phoenix that connects to the sort of warp nacelle that is above it shifts, and you are aware that it was leaning some of its weight on the meteorite. It doesn't outright collapse or like snap off, but the back end of it falls down into the impulse engine and like just crushes it. It is you have other impulse engines, you think, but the impulse engines directly below it are just smushed. Fortunately, nothing explodes, but that is now cripplingly damaged.
Okay. We're gonna have to be really careful.
Okay. So you've got it out, and you can just like toss it into the void of space. It's now a normal meteorite. It will not come back.
Good. We'll
right,
fly back gently.
And yep, fantastic. I won't make you do a roll for that. That's incredibly straightforward. We pivot the camera down to Thizan. You have successfully restored all of the fuses. You now just have to get power reserve to the secondary computer core. That is going to be a control engineering roll. Difficulty 3. So you've got to not overload the secondary computer core with direct warp power.
All right. I'm going to give you threat to roll 1 die.
All right. I'm going to consume. Yeah, I'm going to consume 2 threat to take it to complication range 3.
All right. Ooh, a 1 and an 8, and a 7.
187. Yeah, that translates to exactly the. Oh no, one of them's a critical success. So you generate 1 point of momentum as you get the number of successes necessary. Very gently run this thing off of a sliver of warp power. The sort of dials are bouncing around all over the place. The readings are saying you should really not be doing this. Like, do you wish to engage safeties?
He's pulling a Scotty.
If you press, if you pressed yes, the whole process would stop. So you are overriding the fail safes. You're overriding the power limitations. You are disengaging automatic control, doing it manually. This is so not in the book, but you are able to get the secondary computer core running off of the warp core. This sort of like has a virtuous cycle because it now allows you to have a lot more precise control over the warp core. You still haven't got any secondary power generation online, but manipulating the warp core will now be easier.
My next course of action is trying to get secondary power online.
Okay, you're very near a secondary generator. When you go to the secondary generator, you find that again it's like being knocked into a standby mode. So a control, and especially now you've got the main computer online, it will be a control engineering difficulty 2 to reboot secondary power.
I'll take it with the 2. And I got a 1 and an 8.
Okay, so that's 1 extra momentum, taking you to 2 momentum. You fiddle around and you bring secondary power online. It's not generated off of the warp core. It's an entirely separate secondary conventional motor, effectively. But you are, when I say conventional, I'm talking nuclear power conventional. But you are able to get it going, and it goes. It spins up, and then suddenly, throughout the ship, lights are going doosh, 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 as power starts being restored to systems. Up on the bridge, Bellic will be able to notice power being restored to systems and the automatic power control routed through the secondary computer successfully going online to pretty much everywhere in the ship. The only thing you do not currently have is warp power. because the warp core is just ticking over. Everything else is back online and functional unless it's been like smashed or burnt out.
Can I ask the computer a question?
Yes.
Computer, how much power do we have on all systems?
All systems are all non-combat systems and non-warp power systems are at 70%. Combat systems are as follows: shields 40%, phasers 10%, targeting 10%, warp function 10%, warp travel unavailable and the warp core functionality fully restored.
I'm going to tap my comm badge and say, Captain, we have temporary power. I'm going to keep it on as long as I possibly can. I might have broken a couple of rules there, but I had to do what I had to do.
Okay. Velik will say, acknowledged. We are not able to travel at faster than light speeds until warp core functionality is restored, or until we find some other way of moving it faster than the speed of light. We'll require that ability.
I will do my best, Captain. Out.
Okay. Alright, we pivot the camera to Karava. Karava, you are heading to main engineering and the warp core. You arrive, find that all of the control systems now seem to be online. Very easily tell from the very low of the warp core that it is on, but barely.
Okay. I guess while I'm in the warp, I guess enter the warp core. I'll ask if there's what assistance do you need, kind of thing. Do we need anything? Make sure that the power remains on permanently.
You get the impression it's just we just need to bring the levels up slowly and safely. Now there's no more subspace interference. The warp core should function as normal.
Okay. Good. I'm gonna message back to the brig, see if everything's fine in there.
You get an all clear from the brig. Force fields in the brig have been restored. She's still kept in chains, but she's now also behind a force field.
Okay. Alright, and I'll ensure that the same level of security just in case, because I'm suspecting foul play, so I'm gonna say it's not over yet. So I don't think I'm really needed here. So unless one of the people here needs assistance with anything, I'll just head. I'll ask his status report for the ship, basically, kind of thing. And
you came here to assist with engineering. Do you want to try a control engineering difficulty 3 to bring the warp core up under your supervision?
Yeah, okay. I'll do that. Do we have any momentum left?
You have 2.
Okay. I'll spend 1 momentum and 1 threat, and I will do that.
Okay.
Control engineering?
Control engineering difficulty 3.
Just seeing if that could help with this. Improvisation?
No, you're using standard procedures now for just low power situations. Okay, nothing bad happens, but you're not able to bring it up.
Okay.
This is one of those things now where you just need to wait a while for it to return to a stable level and then try again.
Alright. I'll just do that then. I'll wait a while, and I'll ask has anyone in engineering have you noticed anything? Did you notice I'm trying to think of a way to explain this so it's not a question that just be like, oh yeah, the thing that just happened now. I can't think of any questions to ask anyone in engineering.
That's fine. If you ask people, have you seen anything suspicious, you get a lot of shaking heads. I will say, by the way, that the plan to restore warp travel may be very optimistic, as in dangerously optimistic, whilst one of the nacelles is just not where it should be.
Can I put the nacelle back?
Its main structural support has semi-collapsed. It's going to be
Okay.
a long to work to do that.
All right. Maybe I'll suggest to the captain that we need to call for unless we haven't done that already, call for the Federation to send another ship in, because we probably won't be able to fly to the destination. We need someone else to escort the prisoner.
Okay.
Like if we do that now, that'd put danger to all the ship and the crew.
Right. Velik will take that suggestion and accept it. And now that you've got signals and communications back, he effectively puts out an SOS, we need a tow. And yeah.
Also, do we have scanners?
Yeah, you got scanning. You got sensors back.
I'll ask. Can we do a sensor sweep of the area, ensure there's no hostile ships present?
Okay. There's no player characters on the bridge, so I'll say that is done by NPCs, and it comes back with no suspicious results.
Okay. Hopefully they roll good. All right then. I guess I'll attempt to do the warp core thing again. Is that necessary?
I mean, you're not going to be able to go to warp, but warp core power would be necessary for full weapons functionality.
Okay, yeah, that's actually important. So yeah, I'll perform that again.
Yeah, control engineering difficulty 3.
Yep. This time I'll do the same thing. 1 momentum, 1 threat.
Okay. I'm going to use that. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you would have not triggered it anyway.
Oh my fucking god! Sorry. Sorry for swearing. Sorry.
It doesn't. Well, no, it doesn't matter. Because your first set of rolls, I wasn't going to bump the complication range all the way up to 5. I didn't have the threat to do that. I looked at your dice scores, and none of them would have triggered the threat.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no. But like oh no, I rolled twice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you are very lucky that second one was like not the first one, because I would have I stuck with the first one. So damn, just blow up the ship. Okay.
The ship just blows up in the simulation and just in reality.
Okay. So Hines and Johnson successfully returned to the shuttle bay without difficulty. We pivot the camera briefly back to Cadet Padar. Cadet Padar, you're on the way to the bridge, but all functionality seems to be being restored around you as you run down the corridors.
I can take a turbo lift.
Yep, you can. Get stopped partway through where the turbolift corridors are physically damaged, but it doesn't take long for you to then go up Jeffrey's tube, get around the blockage, and go again.
Okay.
So yeah, you get
I
to the
walk
bridge.
onto the bridge. Captain, what's the situation?
He sort of looks at you somewhat strangely, thinking you came here in person to ask me this, but yeah, communicator was only restored recently. And he will say the primary computer core. I'm very bad at doing a Velik impression. The primary computer core is out. Secondary computer core functional. Impulse power significantly lessened. Warp flight capability inactive. Main power, secondary power both online. Most ship systems functional. Severe structural damage to several decks.
I'm gonna try to make sure. I'm gonna sit at the life support deck, the station. Try to make sure everything is working all right.
All right, I'm not going to make you roll for that. Those systems have kicked in and are perfectly functional.
For how long?
Like all power is back on unless power fails. Their life support is functioning at peak efficiency like normal.
Captain, I treated all the casualties. Most of them are stable, but they will need full starbase sickbase soon. Maybe inside a couple of hours. If we could find a way to get towed or make it on our own power to the nearest starbase, it would be useful.
Okay. It is at that juncture that, partly because I'm aware of the time, but also have successfully somewhat resolved the actual main issues here, that all of you will hear the audio signal for end of simulation. The ship around you doesn't appear to immediately change very much because most of it is real ship. Corvinus in the brig might be somewhat nonplussed by the fact that most of the security staff around him mysteriously disappear, as do most of the people around you. Not all of them, though. There are actually some physical actors there. But the Klingon stays. The Klingon was real. The Klingon was never a hologram. And gets to watch as the Klingon is just like transported out of her chains to just materialize somewhere else, location unknown. And a few seconds later, the whole team of you are transported off of the ship and back into a meeting room, but it's not the same one as before. You've got a sort of a window view of the outside of the box, and you can see various people in different like control towers manipulating all sorts of computers and levers and fiddling with various different bits of the simulation and restoring things. And it is a very, very complex setup that they've got going here. But you're allowed to peek behind the stage now that you have run through the simulation. Before anyone comes in and talks to you, do any of you have any immediate comments or things that you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, well, gee, I hope I pass this one. I just have to be on my toes after that stupid incident.
Hopefully,
Well,
we did really well, Heinz.
Heinz is literally having an actual medical problem right now. I think he should be transported somewhere.
Has anyone called this in?
Okay.
No, I'm still wherever you beamed me. I'm breathing heavily.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Medical emergency?
Go to Heinz.
You all right, Cadet Heinz?
He can't respond. If you beamed him into a chair, he's probably falling out of
I
it.
go.
I still have a
Medical emergency.
Okay. When the words medical emergency are invoked, particularly since the simulation is over, there is no challenge to that. And Heinz is immediately beamed to a medical wing on the box. Once he's there, however, it's a relatively simple matter for just, a couple of typos and everything comes under control. The doctors do, however, note this with concern. They keep Heinz for observation for a little while before saying, yeah, you're good to go. But the fact that Heinz would have this degree of major respiratory collapse in a simulation, and I leave this, of course, entirely to Infamous about the result of this, but they're probably going to say, have Cadet Heinz's medical fitness reviewed. But I leave entirely to Infamous about whether or not he passes that medical re-examination.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that mystery until next season. You won't see him next episode.
But yeah, So he's kept out of the briefing room for a while, and the rest of you are left there. After a few moments, though, the person who began this exercise, the commander, will return and say, this is Commander Fowler, and say, mixed congratulations, cadets. Allow me first of all to assure you that your colleague Cadet Hines is perfectly medically well and has been seen to. His vitals were monitored at all times, and we do not believe him to have ever been in serious danger. Nonetheless, he will make a complete recovery. Well, cadets, how would you describe that episode, and how would you rate your own performances? And then he turns to Karava first.
Karava, she'll say, probably I should have been on the Klingon quicker and made sure that she didn't escape. But I was able to subdue her and bring her back. Overall, I think could have just done better overall, I guess. Need to still improve.
Interesting. It is interesting that you should say that, Cadet Karava. And then he gestures to the door, and after a few moments... Oh, hang on. After a few moments, the Klingon that you recognize as Mivo Zelveri walks in, wearing uniform of Starfleet security, and she's got sort of senior lieutenant pips, and says, I overheard your comments, Cadet Karava. You are right to constantly reflect on potential for further restraint. However, you behaved most adeptly for a cadet. We have run variants of this simulation on other parties before, and I have not been so quickly subdued or now. It's able to cause extensive further damage to the ship. You are to be congratulated, Cadet, and I would like to have a brief word with you afterwards about your future.
Of course. Thank you, ma'am. Just said.
And then Commander Fowler, or Lieutenant Commander Fowler's eyes... Anyway, Fowler's eyes fall on Thizan. So, Cadet Thizan, how would you describe your own performance?
Well, sir, I know I broke about 12 engineering protocols and probably some laws, but I tried to keep the ship afloat to the best of my ability. I don't know whether to be ashamed of my actions or to be proud of them, honestly.
He'll sort of have a kind of like a poker face. You can attempt an insight security, be opposed. Actually, no, it won't be opposed. It'll be an insight security difficulty 3 if you want to get past his poker face.
And I have some momentum left, right? I believe.
No, we're on flat 0 momentum.
I'll give you a threat then.
Okay.
2 successes, 1 barely, and another success.
Okay, alright, you get through with 0 momentum. So, you're able to tell from his poker face, which is pretty good, that he's not angry at you as he asks this question. It is, tell me, Cadet Thizan, what is the purpose of these standard operating regulations and safety procedures?
Well, to be honest, there is a thing that they say don't draw power from the power core, it might explode. The warp core is a fickle device, and honestly, I could have gotten us all killed. But it took a chance, and that's why I kind of feel ashamed that I actually had to do it.
He nods and says, you are wise to reflect on the wisdom of that action, and I imagine that you pouring through the data of this simulation, which we will share with you all to improve your practice. But the fundamental purpose of those forms of safety regulations is to ensure that the ship continues to function. Had you not done that, the ship would almost certainly have failed to function. There are some steps that could be taken earlier in the simulation to avoid that scenario, but once it arrived, if you had not broken some of those rules, the scenario would almost certainly have ended in a complete failure. Rules can be broken from time to time, Cadet, but only under great caution.
Thank you, sir.
Alright. And so yeah, Thiesan doesn't come out with a perfect score, unlike Grava, who comes up with a near perfect score, but comes up with a good score. We then, well, Heinz is currently sick, so we turn to Cadet Padar. Cadet Padar, how would you assess your own performance?
I performed relatively well. I used cutting-edge medicine to save at least 2 of the were, well, I should say it, brain challenged, and most of the crew survived in sickbay. I would say it's a success, but a mitigated success.
It's an interesting view of the situation, Cadet Padar. I would agree that your early actions in this simulation were commendable, and you saved a very large number of lives of the crew. This was a scenario in which it was practically impossible to have every single person survive, but you were highly instrumental in saving a large number of lives that could not otherwise have been saved. However, we note with concern the decision that you made to attempt the brain surgery without proper tools and without proper power when they were stable enough to wait until a more opportune time. It is true that you were able to save 2 of the 3, but your decision did result in a fate worse than death for one of the crew members. We would encourage you to not be so cavalier with the lives of crew members when there is a realistic chance that they can be stabilized and wait for when you have better equipment and a properly functioning facility. He sort of waits to see if you have any comment on that, or if you just nod and take it.
Can take it.
Okay. So yeah, you don't come out with a fail, but it's not a strong pass. But you come out with a pass, and then we go to Cadet Johnson, and say, Cadet Johnson, how would you rate your own performance?
An epic fail.
What do you believe you have learned from these events?
Trying to surgically remove something from a ship is not easy.
That is indeed correct. However, your early actions in the simulation were successful, and although your actions overall resulted in significant further damage to the vessel, you were, in conjunction with Cadet Hines, at least able to move the root cause of the problem, which, and he turns to Cadet Carava, to satisfy your curiosity, in the fiction of this event was a random strike. There was no wider plot. But we liked to make you think that there was. He turns to Johnson. As a result of which, Cadet Johnson, we will be recommending that either here, in the box, once it has been installed in orbit above your facility, or in a series of further hollow exercises, that you undergo some further exercises and training until you pass a sufficient number of similar exercises. But yeah, and he'll leave it there. So it's clear you're not being booted off anything or officially reprimanded, but you have to go through some training.
Yeah. He knows he epically failed because the taking part of the ship and destroying part of the war core.
And yeah, that wraps up the summary for everybody here. Cadet Hines might get a one-on-one chat to later when he's not in medical. And as a little side note, the Klingon lieutenant will take Karava aside out of the sort of meeting rooms, and will say, "Dear Karava, whilst this has not been officially approved, I easily have the ability to put a few words in a few ears and ensure this happens. You displayed immense personal courage and immense personal ability in your deportment of this simulation. And I am pleased by your record of bravery and stalwartness that I have seen in your actions as a cadet so far, particularly during the wolf incursion into your compound." Pauses to see your reaction.
Oh yeah, she's like, yes, ma'am. She's she's waiting for like what the thing's about.
Yeah.
She looks excited though.
As a result of which, I am in a position to recommend you to some extra courses and some extra training with an aim to a career in Starfleet security after you graduate, with a specialism in, shall we say, special operations.
That sounds very interesting, ma'am. She said. I'd be very interested in doing something like that.
Well, you'll receive more details, I'm sure, in writing. A career in our special units is always an interesting one, Cadet Karava. So, yeah, you basically have an invite to join their version of, well, I say join, you go through the necessary training and hope you pass it, to go into like their version of like commandos, special forces, that kind of affair.
Okay, yeah, I should be interested in doing that.
All right. Unless any of you want to raise anything, that would bring the box to its conclusion, and I would pass back over to Infamous.
How do you want to handle reputation? Do you want to do it? Do you want me to do it? Do you want to collaborate on it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so let me bring up the notes. So, I have got Hines, Thiessen, Johnson, and Padar all down as having used determination at some point. Does anyone disagree with that?
I think that's right.
Oh,
Okay.
Crop used determination as well.
Okay, all right. I will. Yeah, that seems believable. I will believe that. Okay. So everybody used determination, which means that I think everybody gets a normal milestone. In terms of reputation after that, we've also I don't think you get a second normal milestone for additional challenging of value. So just bring up the list. Oh, that's the wrong thing. It's taking a moment to load. I don't know why this is taking so long to load. I'll just go to my hard book.
You do remember I have custom reputation rolls, right?
Yes, but unfortunately, it's just not opening.
Okay, I'm gonna paste it, and hopefully that works better.
Okay, cool.
Because I was already there, so it was relatively easy. It should be appearing if it hasn't already.
Are you putting it in the Roll20 or in the Gilded?
Gilded.
Ah, okay. Ah, there we go. Okay, alright. Acted in accordance with directives. Everyone did that, so everyone gets +1. Challenged a directive. No one did that. Everybody fulfilled their directive, and nobody said get stuffed to any senior orders, so everybody avoids that. Directly contributing to saving lives. Technically, no one was in danger at any point in any of this, but I'm going to say that runs against the spirit of it. And I'm going to give directly contributed to saving lives to Hadar, Thizan. Actually, no, not Thizan. Padar, Karava, and that's it. They're the ones who like directly prevented life. So to get an additional +1. Sorry, +3. I apologise. +3. Acted above and beyond the call of duty. I would argue that. Well, Padar definitely did that. Izan did that. I'm going to say everybody gets that one. Taking unnecessary risks. That's going to...
I can see that with everyone, too.
Not with everyone. Padar definitely. Padar took unnecessary risks, so that's -2. In fact, I'm going to... actually, I'll do this individually, because doing it similarly for all of them gets too complicated, and we'll lose track. Okay. We'll start with just Karava. So, just Karava. You get +1, +2, +5. No. Not really relevant. Definitely not. Okay, you get 5 positive reputation dice. We'll then go to Padar. Gets... +2, +5, +3. Should I do that? -1. Okay, Padar, unfortunately you're really hit by the brain damage thing. Other than that, you actually did very well, but yeah, the brain damage thing really stung you. So you get 1 positive reputation dice. Then we go to Thizan. Thizan will go with 1. Thizan gets 3 positive reputation dice. Johnson will get...
Yeah.
Okay, +1, +2, not quite, 0. Johnson will get none. It's flat. Unfortunately, you're taking unnecessary risks and smashing out sections of the ship.
Yeah.
Cancelled out. I do apologise. And Hines is similarly, because he was part of that deck smashing, come out with a flat, 0, no reputation. Bellic and Corvinus. That's interesting, because of course they were only partly here. You do all, by the way, get your normal milestones, because you did all use or challenge directives and values. Velic will get 1,
Also, Elaine, your cadet. I give all new players a normal milestone to begin with, regardless. So you should be at 2 if you use the determination. I don't remember if you did or not though.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, Velik and Corvinus, I'll just put it in roll 20 for when they get back. Velik and Corvinus both get +3. And I think that rounds out the team.